G'day, Upper Room House Church community. Great to see you guys again. Just here really to get you going with a little bit of discussion about tonight or today's study. And this is the first chapter of the book, Life Together, and it's focused on community. And I just want to pick on one little point for you, which is that Bonhoeffer, if you've read this chapter in Life Together, Bonhoeffer is focused on the kind of spiritual, organic nature of community in this first chapter. And this is, I think, something that is incredible for us to explore. He has a few interesting concepts. One is that he looks at the role of Jesus as a mediator and basically talks about how Jesus, not just that we always think of Jesus as the mediator between me and God. You know, Jesus brokers my salvation, brokers my forgiveness and my reconciliation to God, and then acts in a sort of a high priestly role where anytime I need to be able to talk to God, I have a relationship with God, then I come through the mediator Jesus Christ as head of the church and as Lord of my life and as my older brother, if you will. Then he mediates that relationship to the powerful, all-powerful Father, God, the creator of all. And so that is true. Jesus plays this role. But Bonhoeffer is also very interested in the fact that Jesus is not the mediator, not just between God and human beings, but he's mediator between human beings and human beings. And he talks a lot about us not having access to each other's lives. And this goes, this is very deep into what he talks about love being a spiritual thing, a spiritual love. He tries to discern the difference between a spiritual love and a worldly love. And he picks out, really, I'd say, the difference between desire, wanting to get something from other people, and service, that is wanting to give something or wanting to do something for other people. And he's honed in on something, obviously very important in the Christian life as to why am I even in community at all? And you'll see this with human communities. You'll see it with churches. You'll meet people and it's very clear they're in the church because they want to get something. And if you're in the church because you want to get something, if you're there because, hey, Craig's some great teacher and, we want to get something from him, then whenever Craig isn't a great teacher, you won't be in the church anymore. If we're there because, hey, the worship that Tash does and James do, that's just amazing, and that's why we're at the upper room and we're trying to get this thing. If that's the reason you're there, then when the worship isn't great anymore, you won't be there at all either. You need to be in the church for deeper reasons than that, in essence, and you need to be there ultimately wanting to give something. You're wanting to devote yourself first, giving to God and then giving to others. That's the core of what makes a church. Opting in and opting out very easily is what moderns do with everything in their lives. We join gyms for 2 months and then cut off our membership when we've decided we're not really willing to be fit at all. We join clubs for running when we want to run and then we decide, no, we don't want to run, and so we cut ourselves off from the club. We go join some, bridge playing group until we're bored with bridge and don't want to play anymore. We join a book club until such time as we get bored with that particular author and we don't want to be part of that, and we just pull out of the group and don't attend anymore. We are used to doing this. We change our jobs regularly. We have very low levels of commitment to things, but we have a wide array of things that we're committed to. That's kind of, what we are. The church is very different to that. It asks essentially for 100% commitment to Jesus Christ in this local place. For you guys, that's upper room on a Sunday and it's your house church during the week. Is this 100% commitment to the people that are there, not to get something, not to be entertained or have my ear tickled or, wow, I'm there because, I really want to be around this other person who's, very charismatic or whatever. It's there because I really want to give something. I want to express my faith in Christ, my love. I want an outpouring into the lives of others. And so I'm there for these reasons, because there's something that I want to give and contribute, and what I have to contribute is welcomed and offered. And so this creates a very different dynamic in the church community, and that's the sort of thing that Bonhoeffer has, and many other things he talks about in that chapter, and I haven't got time to pull it all apart, but that is very core and central to what Bonhoeffer wants to talk about. It's going to be essentially a measure, or an index, if you will, of my level of commitment to the church community. People change churches all the time. We're just coming off the back of COVID, for example, 2 years and often being shut down as a church. And during that period, people will have opted out and left the church. Some people have let me know they've done that. Some people have just disappeared. Other people are coming into our church, probably in many cases from other churches. This sort of, moving around experience, not always unhealthy, by the way. Sometimes I think, change is a good thing. So I'm not suggesting for a second we should all be wedded to one particular local church for the rest of our lives. It's very unusual for that to happen. But our commitment to our local community needs to be very, very deep, and it needs to be deeper than just what I can get from it. You'll always get something from it, but you'll get more if you give to it. And I can witness to this. The people that I have seen grow the most at the Upper Room were the people over the nearly 12 years, I guess, that we've been running. The people that have actually given the most, that have actually sowed in the most, I believe are the ones who've grown the most, have actually got the most out of the Upper Room experience. And the people that were very standoffish and only half committed, often they've gone anyway, they've moved on over time. But I really often saw people stop growing. And they often stopped growing because they just couldn't actually contribute anymore to what was going on. They just did not, for whatever reason, they'd come to a point of where growth had stalled. And so the more deeply you embed yourself into your organic church community, the more likely you are to actually get something out of it. And that's the irony, because if you go in there thinking I'm going to get something, you probably will get very little in the end out of it. So it's the depth of our commitment, and really this is a manifestation of our love for Jesus, our willingness to actually be 100% identified with the person of Jesus of Nazareth as Lord of our lives. The overcoming of our pride to bow our knee to Jesus and name him as Lord is very critical to our ability to love others and to be successful in our Christian journey. And so that Lordship of Jesus is non-negotiable. He is the mediator between myself and God. And because he's that, he's also the mediator between myself and other people. It always causes me to pull up before I think about how I will approach other people. It's very, very easy to view other people, and even pastors can fall into this trap of just viewing other people for what they can do for the church, or because I might know a need or something, I can go and hit someone up and ask them to help or something like that. But it's not actually that healthy to view things that way. And we really need to be, as Bonhoeffer will tell us, we need to be prayerful about all of these dynamics in community. Everything's got to be given to God first before we go approach our neighbour or our Christian brother or sister for anything at all. We've got to really look at this person as Jesus sees them. And we've got to come to them through the person of Jesus, which means that the only doorway we have is really prayerful. It's got to start in prayer. And my encouragement, and you've heard me talk about this before, but I'll say it again, before you go confront someone with something that's going on, and this is not a very New Zealand or Kiwi thing to do, but it does happen from time to time, but before you do that, make sure you've prayed for the person and asked for wisdom and asked to really see what's going on, because often we don't see and we don't understand what's going on, and we just make quick judgments about certain situations. So unfortunately, that is the kind of thing Bonhoeffer is warning us off. These are destructive of community. If we're going to have genuine community, we have to see others through the lens of the Lordship of Jesus Christ. The Lordship of Jesus is over their life just like it's over mine. And because of that, I have to go to the other person through the person of Jesus. And practically that means I've got to get on my knees first before I ever do or say anything that could be difficult or confrontational, or even just asking for a favour. It needs to be approached in the right way. The other person needs to not be viewed as an object of something that I want to get, something from. They need to be viewed as an object of love, someone I'm approaching in love. It's radically transformed how I approach the question of giving in the church, because as a pastor you're always having to ask for things. We're fundraising right now as a church community as we come up to the end of financial year, and I encourage you, get on board and give. But what I'm not doing as the years roll by is just simply getting there like I've got a begging bowl and I'm begging people to get. I'm saying no, I'm not approaching you that way, because it'd be too easy then to view that as a usurious kind of relationship. I don't see it that way. For me, all I will ever do is get up and say, here's an opportunity, here's a need. You have an opportunity to decide to be part of the answer to that need. That's your decision. I'm not manipulating you into it. I'm not going to beg you for it. I'm going to tell you what the need is, and you can choose on the basis of your commitment to Jesus, do you want to do something about that or not? But you are making your own free decision about your heart before God. That to me is what Bonhoeffer's talking about when he says, let's go to other people through Jesus Christ. Let's not just manipulate natural human relationships because you're in one position and someone else is in another. That is exactly what he's saying destroys community. And so have a read, have a think, have a talk tonight, have a talk as you gather together, whenever you're meeting, whatever time of day, just have a talk together about some of these things and talk honestly about some of the negative things you've seen, negative experiences you've had in church life and also in the world, in your workplace, whatever, but also share the positives, share some positives about good experiences you've had where people have treated you exactly as you deserved to be treated. God bless Upper Room community, this little house church. Keep growing, commit to one another, love one another, be fervent, and get stuck into this study. And keep up your Lent disciplines. Don't forget your fasting. Don't forget your commitments to the other things you've decided to do over Lent, whatever they are. God bless Upper Room family. See you soon. Take care. Bye.